So in this video, I'm going to show you how to play my favorite things using rootless voicings on the left hand. It sounds a little like this. Be sure to check the end of the video to hear the entire arrangement. So let's learn how to build these rootless voicings using the method from our Essential Voicings for Jazz Piano course. This is an extremely simple method that only uses two substitutions. 1 for 9 on all chords except for minor 7 flat 5 chords. And for dominant chords, we also substitute 5 for 13. Let's go chord by chord on the first section of the song to show you how to implement these rootless voicing techniques. So the first chord of our song here is E minor 7, and in closed position that looks like this: E, G, B, and D. So using our rootless voicing substitution, what we need to do is swap out this E, the root, for the ninth F sharp. We can put it actually right there and keep that closed voicing sound. So not only that, we have all these different inversions available to us as it relates to this voicing. We have this F sharp, G, B, D, or we can go G, B, D, F sharp. That just kind of looks like a normal old G major 7 chord. Then we have B, D, F sharp, and G. We can also do one more voicing, D, F sharp, G, and B. Try practicing all these inversions of this voicing so you're comfortable using them throughout the song. We're only going to use a couple, but it's really good for you to know all of these rootless voicings and as many inversions as you can. And also to mention this is important. With these rootless voicings, we're going to try to keep them above bass C because of the lower interval limit. Certain intervals do not sound good in the lower end of the piano. So having said all that, we're going to start with this voicing of E minor 7 in the first measure. So F sharp, G, B, and D. Okay? So in measure 2, we have an F sharp minor 7. F sharp, A, C sharp, and E. And we're going to apply the same exact rule to this chord that we did to the chord in measure 1. We're going to swap out the root F sharp for the ninth G sharp. And again, we get this. We get G sharp, A, C sharp, and E, or we can take you through all the different ways of inverting this voicing to get all these other sounds. We're going to go ahead and just to cut and paste the first voicing that we use in measure 1 into measure 2 and go with G sharp, A, C sharp, and E here. So that would give us this. There's our first 2 bars. So as you can probably see, in measures 3 and 4, we have the same 2 chords again, E minor 7 and F sharp minor 7. But rather than just use the same exact voicings again, we're going to mix it up, introduce some variety and some movement in our harmony by just using one of the inversions that we mentioned earlier that we haven't used to this point. So in measure 1, we had this, and in measure 2, we had this, but now in measure 3, I'll play the rootless E minor 7 like this, that G major 7 looking chord that I mentioned earlier. And then I'll just take that, cut and paste, and move up to A, C sharp, E, and G sharp for the F sharp minor 7 in measure 4. So now we have this. There's our rootless voicings for the first 4 bars. So our next 4 bars consist of exclusively a C major 7 chord, C, E, G, B. So again, root for ninth, and that's it. This isn't a dominant chord, and it's not a minor 7 flat 5. So the substitution rule is quite simple. We will merely swap out this C, the root, for the ninth D, and we get, well, one of our 4 options as far as how to voice this chord, D, E, G, B. I could also do this, B, G, B, D, or G, B, D, E, and finally, we have this as another option for voicing a rootless C major 7 chord. So with such static harmony as we have with measures 5, 6, 7, and 8, just the same chord over and over again, it would be nice to sort of use a couple of these inversions we just talked about to our advantage to introduce some color and movement into these bars. So that's what we'll do. We'll start with this voicing here. Again, we're staying above bass C to stay away from that lower octave limit or that lower register limit that we spoke about earlier. All right, so E, G, B, D for measure 5, and then we'll jump up to this inversion for measure 6 and 7. We can use that twice, and then go right back down again to where we came from. So we'll get this. All right, so next we have an A minor 7. Nothing fancy here either, it's just a root for ninth substitution once again. So we're gonna take this A, the root, and swap it out for the ninth B, and we get one of our voicings and inversions that we have available to us on this chord, B, C, E, and G. We can also do this, C, E, G, B, or we can do this, and we can also do this. So after the A minor 7, there's a D7 and a G major 7. This creates a 2-5-1, and we're gonna try to use really nice voice leading over these next 3 chords in order to accommodate that. Also, the D7 is a dominant chord. All right, so as with dominant chords in our rootless voicing technique, we're gonna do the root for the ninth thing, swap out the D for E, but we're also gonna swap out this 5th A for the 13th B. So this creates a very weird and unique sound that's gonna take some getting used to. It might sound originally like you're doing something wrong, but you're not, all right? So this is one of our voicings for the D7, a dominant chord in this rootless style. So as we said before, this is a very unique sound that might take some getting used to. So play it again and again, get that sound embedded in your head, and just to give yourself some context, it couldn't hurt every now and then, throw in the root just to confirm, okay, this is a good sounding voicing. So as it relates to our arrangement, we're gonna use the second voicing that I showed you in the context of our song. Rewind a little bit. We're gonna come back to this chord from A minor 7. The voicing we're choosing for A minor 7 is this. Our rootless A minor 7 will be G, B, C, and E. And what you'll see with these rootless voicings, regardless of which inversions you go with, when you do a 2-5, it's actually really cool because there's very minimal movement and it's really easy to get nice voice leading because all you have to do is move one note down a half step. So from our A minor 7 to our D7, that's it. That's all we have to do. G moves down to F sharp. So our 2-5, A minor 7 to D7 is going to resolve to a 1. Our 1 in this case is G major 7. So once again, we're gonna swap out the root, G for the ninth, A, and get A, B, D, F sharp. The voicing that works best for our voice leading, based on how we previously voiced the 2 and the 5, is going to be this, F sharp, A, B, and D. So now, our 2-5-1 sounds like this. So now, let's talk about the last chord of the phrase, C major 7, and then we'll try all 4 bars. So our C major 7, C, E, G, B, root for ninth, that's it. We have this, we have this, we have this, or this. Just like before, earlier in the song. So the voicing that works best for our context is going to be E, G, B, D. So if we look at this whole 2-5-1 to the 4 chord measure, we get this. So the first 2 chords of our last phrase are G major 7 and C major 7, the 2 chords we just played. So we're gonna just use those exact voicings one more time. G major 7, C major 7. So there again, root for ninth, using those 2 inversions. Which brings us to our last 2 chords, F sharp minor 7 flat 5 and B7 sharp 9. So this is essentially a 2-5-1 targeting a minor chord. So there's a couple things we have to unpack here. First, the F sharp minor 7 flat 5. So with this minor 7 flat 5 chord, or all minor 7 flat 5 chords, do not use any substitutions. All the notes in the chord are going to be present. There's a reason for this that we go over in our course, so if you're more interested in that, definitely check out our rootless voicings course. But just know for now, you don't need to apply anything, any rules, any substitutions to to this F sharp minor 7 flat 5 chord as it is a minor 7 flat 5 chord. So F sharp, A, C, and E. As a matter of fact, that's the exact voicing we're going to be using in our arrangement, just by coincidence based on the voicings we used in the previous measures and our solid voice leading techniques that we're always striving for. So F sharp, A, C, and E. This brings us to the next chord, B7, a dominant chord. So as we said before, dominant chords, we always swap out the root for the 9th and the 5th for the 13th. However, this dominant chord is targeting a minor chord. So we have to modify our technique ever so slightly. So instead of a 9, we're going to use a sharp 9. And instead of a natural 13, we're going to use a flat 13. Again, there's all sorts of reasons for this, like chord scale pairings and all other such stuff. But if you want to know more about that, check out the course. Just know this, for dominant chords that target minor, root for sharp 9, and 5 for flat 13. So if we look at our B7 and root position, we get this. So let's do the root for the 9th thing first. So B, our root, C sharp, our 9. However, C double sharp is our sharp 9. So we can just kind of see that as a D, even though that's not enharmonically consistent. It's the best way to think of that note for me. Now, our flat 13. So the 5, F sharp, our natural 13 would be G sharp. So we're just going to use G natural instead, and we get this. Again, there's that really unique, distinct sound that's going to take some getting used to. Not only that, you might notice the shape of this chord is very similar to the other dominant chord that we did earlier in the song, D7. There's a minor second inside of it and a major second inside of it. We've just merely swapped where their position is within this original voicing. So let's go through all the possible voicings of our B7 sharp 9 targeting E minor. All right, so again, root for sharp 9, D, and 5th for flat 13, G. So here's one of our voicings right off the bat. We invert that once, we're gonna get this. If we invert it again, we'll get this. And if we invert it one more time, we'll get this. As a matter of fact, this voicing that we just landed on is the exact voicing we're going to be using in our arrangement, again, to create the best possible voice leading that we can. So if I go back to the F sharp minor 7 flat 5, the 2 of our turnaround here, and I implement the voicing we just talked about, I'll get this. So our last phrase of this section, harmonically speaking, would look and sound like this. We have our G major 7, C major 7, then our minor 7 flat 5 voicing to B7 sharp 9. And with the melody, we'll get this. And you can essentially complete the rest of the song following all of the rules that we just laid out for you in the first section. Root for 9, and 5 for 13 on dominant chords. Don't forget the minor target modification. And leave minor 7 flat 5 chords alone altogether. That's it. We've already done this for you and created an entire arrangement of the song, which you can download on our website in PDF format. So please check this out at mDecks.com. Here's the final version. Hope you enjoy. Thanks for watching.